Mahomes looks to throw it. Pump faking, right side. He wants it. A comeback cut. It is caught by Kelsey. Touchdown, Kansas City. The game is over. The Kansas City Chiefs are champions. How about those Chiefs?
Welcome to the Kingdom Corner. I'm Andrew, and with me, as always, is my friend, your co-host, the man himself, the legend, Mr. Dale Baker.
What's happening, Andrew?
Hey, man, I can just tell you this.
Yeah, I just want to point out real quick. This is an Oh Hey Threads. All right, folks.
There you go.
This is a shirt that Andrew and his company has made for our church, and so it's the softest thing that's ever touched my skin.
There you go.
And so it's beautiful. Everyone should. You need a T-shirt. Oh Hey Threads. Let's go.
That's right. Check them out. They'll hook you up with something super soft. I can tell you that. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And hey, as always, make sure you're liking, follow, subscribe, leave a review for us. If you leave a review for us, that helps us more than anything. So whatever platform you're listening to this on, whether it's YouTube or Spotify or Apple or wherever you're at, make sure you leave a review for us and share it with your friends. That helps us more than anything else. So, and Eagles. I'm you know what? It's a good thing. We're like 24 hours after this game, but even so, man, I'm still not sure what to think about it. I
know it's tough.
I kind of thought that after, a day or so that, I'd be sitting here thinking, all right, you know what? The sky's not falling. And here I am thinking, well, maybe it is.
No, it's not falling. It's not falling. We need to be thankful. We need to be grateful. It is the week of Thanksgiving. So I thought, should we do what are we thankful for the Chiefs right now, or should we do it at the end? Should we talk about the bad or the good? What do you want to do?
Let's go ahead and start with the good. Get us in.
All right, let's do it with the good. Right. Here we go. Let's go with the good. All right.
My first one, all right. We can rotate back and forth here. My first one has got to be the Chiefs defense. We have struggled with defense for years. We've always said Patrick Mahomes gets the top 15 defense. Watch out. We got it. So
we got it, but we're not watching out. All right.
We're not watching out, but hey, thankful for the defense.
All right. Yeah. In that defense, who has stood out to you? Like, who is just like every game? I mean, there are multiple guys we could talk about.
There really is multiple.
But I think there's one guy that just like put a stamp on that game that like, I'm here to the league.
Are you talking about in this last game specifically?
Yes.
I think I know who you're referring to. I think you're referring to Trent McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie saying, "Listen, league, there may be a new corner that's the top of the game. Not only can I cover guys, but I can blitz the quarterback and get after him.
That's right.
I can jump out on a screenplay and knock the ball." That was probably one of the most athletic moves I've seen on the field. Was running full speed at Jalen Hurts. Then stopping and then be able to hit the ball was just unreal. And so
almost made it a backwards pass. Almost.
And he almost intercepted the ball where Snead blew up the bubble screen.
Yeah.
He almost got to that ball. I know you were at the game, so I know you'll get all the
Yeah, he's also the one that caused the strip sack, right?
Yep.
If that ball hadn't perfectly bounced right back to Jalen Hurts, he might have recovered it himself. So that guy was everywhere.
Yeah, he was everywhere, and he stood out. And so, was there anybody else on the defense that stood out to you during the game?
Obviously you got to say Chris Jones. That guy was a menace.
Yes,
he was everywhere. Willie Gay had a great game. That guy was all over the place. George Karlaftis, he was everywhere. Mike Dana had himself a good game.
51. Don't forget about 51. Yeah, you can name like everybody on the defense was just flying around. Snead played. Snead held. I think he covered AJ Brown quite a bit in the game, and they held him to one catch.
One catch for 8 yards. As one of the top 5. I don't think it's even arguable. I think he is a top 5 receiver in the NFL. Holding him to one catch for 8 yards is incredible.
Okay, what else are you thankful for the Kansas City Chiefs? We got the defense. We are thankful for the defense.
You know what? I'm thankful for Andy Reid, for a head coach.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what? Every head coach has his flaws, and right now is not time to talk about the flaws. It's thankfulness. But hey, you know what? We went through years of Todd Haley we went through years of
Yeah.
Herm Edwards. I mean, we
Right.
went through years of Romeo Cornell, great
Yeah.
defensive coordinator, not a great head coach. I mean, we went through so many years of bad coaches and just a turnstile. Man, everybody's moving on out. And anyways, to have
Yeah.
Andy Reid, who from year one brought us into the winning column.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you
I don't-
cannot be thankful for that.
I know his press conferences are always great to me because I mean, they become very vanilla very quick. But he never blames his guys, right?
No,
He's
never.
always blaming himself. He never blames his coaches. He's not blaming Dave Toe for special teams, like when McCole Hardman or Tony can't catch or Sky Moore can't catch a punt. He's not like, hey, I need to get those guys. I need to get them prepared. I didn't do my job.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you have a special teams coach. The special team, no, he's like, nope, that's on me. Defense, when they didn't play well, he would be like, well, that's on me. I didn't have them ready. When the offense plays terrible, he's like, well, he's like, he doesn't throw any guy under the bus. It says
Never.
like, hey, it's always like, hey, I need to do a better job. And a lot of accountability there. So I appreciate that for Andy Reid, because I've watched other press conferences from other coaches, and sometimes they throw their own. They just get silly. Yeah.
Well, I got another comment about that, not during the thankfulness portion. So,
all right, there you go. Yeah, but he maybe should throw some guys under the bus to say, "Hey,
that's my point."
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
yeah. But you think it's better done behind closed doors, or
I think it depends on how it's done. So,
yeah,
at some point, you got to start calling guys out and holding them accountable. And obviously, behind closed doors isn't working. And I say it because we're heading into week 12 and we still have the same issues we had week 1.
Yeah.
So at some point, you got to do something to hold guys accountable.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that 3 thankfulness things? Do we hit them all?
No, we got to go one more. We got special teams, baby. I am thankful for our special, even though Townsend didn't have his best game. I mean, it was windy. It felt like the ball kind of just hung up there in the sky a couple times. But hey, our boy Harrison Buckner stays perfect for the year, which is fantastic, and so thankful for that. I mean, that's just a guaranteed 3 points or a guaranteed 1 point for him, and so
knocking on wood.
I think he's pretty consistent. He's shown himself pretty. Even if he misses 1 or 2, I think he's very consistent. He's come up in the biggest moments in games.
Do you remember, was it last year, maybe 2 years ago, that he missed a few and people were clamoring for him to be on?
Yeah, not on this podcast.
No, not on this podcast.
Not here. We were going to stick by him. We did not say
a word about that. We were very because
wasn't he dealing with like a high ankle sprain or something?
Yeah, that was that year that he slipped on maybe that was last year.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, last year was the year that he slipped the first game of the year down there in Arizona, messed up his ankle to start with, and
because Reed came in and kicked field goals for us. And so, I think he was still dealing with some injuries there. And so for him to be that tough and to come out and kick a ball, because you are putting all your foot.
Well, it doesn't even matter which foot it is or which ankle it is.
Right,
you're either
exactly.
All when you're planting or all into the ball when you're kicking. So either one's going to it's going to be a challenge.
Tough guy. So, and then even I was a little worried. I guess that's 3 things. I mean, I am thankful for our offensive line.
There you go.
Giving only 1 sack up to the Eagles. A lot has to do with Pat Mahomes, but our offensive line, I think, held up really good, even though they had a couple, probably 3 or 4, maybe 3, 4 off false starts or holding. Maybe more than that. Never mind. Yeah. They had a lot of penalties.
Yes, they did.
Because I think they had 3 false starts. Creed Humphrey, Smith, not Trey Smith. He's great. But they had some holding in there. But I'm thankful for our offensive line. 1 sack to that Eagles defensive line is just tremendous because they usually get after the quarterback a lot easier than what they were doing Monday night.
Yeah. Well, I'll say my final thankfulness thing is for Patrick Mahomes.
There you go.
Just like head coaches have come through, we've had a lot of quarterbacks come through.
Right.
I mean, we had people like Brody Croyle. Playing quarterback for us for a while. Tyler Thigpen.
That's my favorite one. Oh, yeah.
Tyler Thigpen.
Those were
that's your boy.
That's the Todd Haley days.
Who was it? Damon Hewitt? No, I can't remember. Anyways, I think it's somebody else. Anyways, we had
Elvis Gerback.
Elvis Gerback. He's one. He had a couple good years, but not many. Matt
No.
Castle, who we thought was going to be the redeemer for the Chiefs, who basically was not. So he came over there with Todd Haley, but man, yeah. So thankful for Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you can look at his stats and even think or say like, oh, this guy's not playing well, but man, that guy is still playing well. His guys just aren't doing their end of the play. So
right.
Yeah. All right. Well, Chiefs versus Eagles, right?
Chiefs versus Eagles.
Lots to digest in this game. Lots to digest. So, overall thoughts here. I mean, we got to just jump in and say our offense is still not showing up in the second half.
Anemic.
That's what they've been doing the whole season. And what we said before is like, this is what we have to fix. And right now they are averaging 5.3 points per second half for each game. And so that is the last in the league behind even the likes of the Jets, behind the likes of the Titans, behind the likes of the Panthers, last in the league in second half points. And I believe I heard somewhere too that in the fourth quarter, they only have one touchdown on the entire year.
Wow.
So,
well, I know the last 3 games, right? They haven't scored a single point in the second half.
That is correct. Yeah.
That's hard. That's tough.
You're not going to win any. Well, shouldn't say any, but you're not going to win hardly any NFL games if you don't score any points in the second half. You got to be a full team here.
Yeah. So where's the disconnect? Where's the disconnect? Because in the first half they're scoring points, in the second half they're not scoring points. So why do you think they're not scoring points?
I think they're not adjusting to the adjustments of the other team. I think the other team is making some halftime adjustments to figure out what they need to do different to slow them down, and it's working. And then Andy Reid and Mahomes, or whoever you want to put it on, is not then readjusting to their adjustments to beat whatever it is. And so they're just sticking with it.
The first half, the Kansas City Chiefs were able to run the ball with success.
Yeah.
The second half, the Eagles adjusted and said, you're not going to run the ball.
Yeah. They basically said, we're going to make you beat us with passing it.
Yes.
Which is, in years past, we would have said, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So should that lead into, I was wondering if the Kingdom Korner should do a GoFundMe. I don't think the Chiefs organization has a jugs machine. I think maybe we should do a GoFundMe and maybe get the Chiefs a jug machine so these guys can get some little extra practice and catch it.
You know what I was thinking just the other day? Because, I mean, you're not wrong, but especially on these deep passes, though, there's 2 games now that the Chiefs would have won or been close to winning if guys just catch a ball from a deep pass. I mean, they catch it and walk into the end zone. And both of them were perfect passes by Patrick Mahomes. You couldn't ask for a better deep ball pass than what he has given them. It's sending them right in the hands and stride. They're not having to try to speed up or slow down. Just perfect pass.
Yeah.
And they can't bring it in as a professional receiver. I mean, who would have thought that you're getting paid millions of dollars, literally, to catch a ball, and you can't catch a ball?
Right.
I mean, what is going on? So my thought is, you know what? Every practice needs to end this way. You get Patrick Mahomes, you get any quarterback, doesn't even matter who.
Yeah.
And you get these guys to sprint as hard as they can down to the end zone, and you throw it to them, and until they catch 5 in a row, they're not done with practice.
There you go.
And so they can't, and you purposely don't underthrow them because you don't want to have to slow down. You want them, you'd rather overthrow them and make them say, well, sorry, try again, rather
run
than
faster.
Yep. Because that's where this disconnect is, because they're not able to catch in stride. They need to learn how to catch in stride. So I'm not saying that really is the answer, but they got to do something.
No. And let's be fair. MVS has had some big catches, right, in his career here as a Kansas City Chief. One that jumps in mind would be the AFC Championship game last year against the Cincinnati Bengals.
He had a huge game in general.
Just a huge game. So we're not. I think those deep passes just take a tremendous focus, and so they're not focusing on these wide receivers aren't focused. And I think that one where Justin Watson dropped over the middle to get a first down to continue the drive I think he heard footsteps. He didn't want to take a hit, and so, which is weird because I think he's a tough player. Yeah. He's always playing through things and always getting up, and bouncing back up and playing. So It's hard. And even the last throw, and we don't want to rag on the wide receivers because again, their job is hard.
Wait, we don't?
Well, we do, but it is Thanksgiving.
No, it is, but
yeah. So, but I mean, like, hopefully these guys can figure it out and work on it. But it's hard to think that when we're going into week 12 of the season, and it's like, well, this has been the trend for the entire season. Like the wide receivers not stepping up. There's not one guy who wants to be the number one wide receiver. I mean, I don't know I don't know what else Rashid Rice has to do to get that number one spot.
So who is the Chiefs' best wide receiver at this point?
I think Rashid Rice.
Is he the one that?
But he's probably a slot guy, right? He's not the.
Well, the Chiefs don't really use a true slot receiver. They move all their guys around a lot. So, but I might make the argument that Justin Watson is our best receiver right now, not from a talent standpoint, but from a production standpoint.
Yeah,
I think Rashid Rice does have the most receiving yards, but you just think about who's made the most big catches this year for the Chiefs.
Right. Well,
I think Justin Watson is your guy, huh?
Not on 4th and 25.
No, I'm not even saying that I'm not even saying that he's great.
No,
I'm just saying he's better than all the others. When you just think about who's made the most catches and crucial points of the game.
Oh yeah, it's
outside
Justin.
Of tight end.
Yeah, it's Justin.
I'm just saying Justin Watson.
Yeah, but I'm saying, why not give Rashid Rice the number one spot and say, what can you do, kid?
You know what? At this point, because he hasn't been given more snaps, there's something that he's doing or not doing that the coaches are seeing.
Right. Well,
I mean, there's got to be. Otherwise, there's no reason. There's no reason he wouldn't be playing.
Let's have him run those Kelsey routes.
You know what?
See, like, I think MVS during the summer was strange because during the first half, MVS only had like 3 snaps on the field. And then the second half came around and he had all these snaps, and all these. So I was like, it was weird how they were running the offense. And so, but yeah, that last play for the Chiefs to continue the drive, I don't know how Mahomes could have thrown a better ball on 4th and 25.
He couldn't have. It was perfect. Right to his hands.
So, like, Mahomes is doing what he needs to do. I mean, sure, Mahomes cleans up some mistakes. I think he gets he threw a bad interception in the red zone, which is a no-no. I mean, that's the biggest one. I mean, on those 4th down and things like that, that would have been a big deal. But yeah, Mahomes cleans up everything. But I think Mahomes is putting these balls where guys can catch them.
And here's the question for these receivers. Yeah. Is the reason they're dropping so many, is it a concentration / mental thing, or is it a skill thing?
Both. Can it be both?
Yeah, it can be.
Okay.
I would almost say it's both, and I would start to say at this point it's starting to become more of a skill thing, because if you're not concentrating and you're just dropping balls, that starts becoming who you are.
Right.
Not saying that can't be fixed, not saying it can't be improved on, but right now that's just who they are. Unfortunately, I think they're going to continue to drop passes this year.
Yes.
I don't like saying that, but I think it's just true. And so, so the question comes down to this is, can the Chiefs still win? And obviously when we say win, we mean a Super Bowl, because unlike other teams, anything short of a Super Bowl victory is not a great season for the Chiefs, which in hindsight, or, looking from a different angle, that is a great problem for the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Because for years we just thought, I just want to win a playoff game. And now we're saying if we don't win the Super Bowl, but so with drops continuing, can the Chiefs still win a Super Bowl? I don't like your hesitation here.
The craziest thing is the Chiefs are like, their team is good enough because of their defense and because you still have Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. The team is good enough to still go to the Super Bowl. I don't think we can win a Super Bowl with our talent. So here's why I propose Chiefs Kingdom. Let's get Larry Fitzgerald out of retirement. Put him in the red and gold, and let's see what he can do, right? I'm not talking like running deep routes. I'm just talking those intermediate routes. I'm sure he's still in shape. Larry Fitzgerald, come on to the kingdom. Let's get you that Super Bowl.
That's right.
Let's
put a ring on that finger.
Yeah, I guess it'd be. Did they lose to the Steelers that year? They went.
They did.
They lost. So they lost to Steelers.
They did lose to Steelers.
Let's get him a ring. Let's submit his Hall of Fame career with a ring.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Come on.
But
This
that-
is your official invitation.
Yes,
Larry
come on,
Fitzgerald,
Larry.
right now. The
Let's
Kansas City
go.
Chiefs are offering you a position if you want it.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know if we can speak on behalf of the Chiefs, but I feel like we can because they need our help at this point. So
they need. I mean, I'm
Larry
sure they've thought
Fitzgerald,
about.
this is your official invitation. Come join the Chiefs for the rest of the year, and we'll put a ring on that finger.
A guarantee.
Oh yeah,
guarantee. If we got Fitz,
you don't even have to play 80% of snaps. We're just looking for 40, 50% of snaps.
Exactly, and in particularly third downs. We want you on third downs. At least that way people can't triple team Travis Kelce. That'd be all right.
Or if they do, you'll have the most easy.
Open.
Yeah, you'll have the most easy catch you've had in your career because
we
know that you're used to being double teamed, and so put both you and Travis Kelce on the field, and they're gonna have to choose and pick who they're gonna double team. So you might have some great numbers even for the time we have left.
There you go. Hey,
all right. Well, this leads into another question. So have the Chiefs, I kind of got two here, but we'll start with this one. So have the Chiefs, because talking about the wide receivers here, last year was the year that they were supposed to have this huge drop off because of losing Tyreek Hill. And they end up going back and winning the Super Bowl. And what we're seeing this year is what a lot of people expected last year.
Yeah.
And the difference this year is we don't have Juju. And people can make the argument that he wasn't that great or they didn't make that big of a difference. I'd make the argument that he did simply based on what we're seeing now.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if nothing else, he could get open, right?
And he would catch it.
Yes, and he'd catch it.
He'd catch it. So not only would he get open, he would catch it. So
that's right. And so here's my question is, so because of their success last year without Tyreek Hill and winning the Super Bowl, did the Chiefs kind of get a little bit lazy? And I guess more so, our GM, Brett Veach, say, you know what? We did it without Tyreek Hill with what many thought was a subpar receiver group. Let's double down on it.
Right.
And so I think they get a little too lazy in that, just saying, you know what? We have Patrick Mahomes. He'll make it work.
That's exactly what I think. I think they just take for granted Mahomes, and Mahomes will get these guys ready, and Mahomes will be spectacular, and Mahomes will, And so, I think Andy Reid will get these guys wide open. And, I've said that on this podcast that Andy Reid will design these guys to get open. They won't have to work that hard, all that. But I think it's where they've just taken for granted the talent of Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes that they're going to figure it out. And so it doesn't matter who they get back there. It's a little bit of what we saw with Tom Brady, right? At the end of his career. They wouldn't get him weapons. They wouldn't, and he's just, please get me somebody that I can throw to. Gronk is, talking about retirement. He's not playing as many snaps. Travis Kelce's talking about retirement, not playing as many snaps, and so it's one of those things where we need to get weapons around him. And so there's from 2018 to now, it's two different Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Where the first phase or the first part of the Chiefs was get Mahomes all the weapons, and we're going to score 45 points a game. Yep. And our defense is going to be okay or adequate. Not great, but they'll be okay. We'll put them on the field.
Yeah.
And now we switched because of Tyreek Hill trade, and we used all those draft picks on the defensive side and none on the offensive side. Now we're seeing, and now we're seeing the results of that. Or could we say that Brett Veach has missed on, and his staff has missed on a couple of guys like Sky Moore and Rashid Rice? And I think the jury's still out on Rashid Rice, but Sky Moore, he's not saying he's a bust, but it's taken longer for him to develop than you would think for a second rounder to develop.
Yeah. It could be something even beyond just his catching ability, right? It could be his route running ability, his ability to read a defense, his ability to help in run blocking, on cornerback. So it could be a plethora of things. So, but man, I feel like the Sky Moore pick is a miss. You can't expect every pick to be a hit. Oh yeah.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a miss, and we had people like Jonathan Taylor we could have drafted, or I think you think about that and you're or we could have just sold the pick and got more picks, or whatever we would have done. But I'm just saying so, and for all the picks they pick, then you get then he drafts Pacheco in the 6th round. You're holy cow, this guy is a starting running back, ready to go. And so they find those things. So I'm not saying Veach is an idiot or anything like that. You're going to miss on picks, right? Everyone does, but it's just man, we can't. We've hit on the defensive picks, but we haven't hit on the offensive picks. Besides Pacheco in the 6th round.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to hang too much on the draft because every team could have these same conversations. Every single one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's what 9, 10 teams that are saying that about Patrick Mahomes, including the Buffalo Bills who trade us the pick. So there's teams you can say that every year for players that you miss.
Yeah, but those Bills fans are delusional. They think we got Josh Allen. Why? What do you mean? Why would we want Pat Mahomes? So they're delusional. All right?
They really think that they would not want him.
Yeah, they would not. They would. Okay. Yeah. All right.
You know what? There's a reason you don't have a Super Bowl. I'll just leave it at that. So
there you go. Bingo.
Yeah. So, man. So now we have the Chiefs facing the Eagles, not putting up points in the second half. The wide receivers aren't able to catch balls. So, brings me back to my point from a few weeks ago. Are the Chiefs missing Eric Bieniemy?
I don't even know if Eric Bieniemy get these guys. I mean, I think there'd be a little more accountability.
Exactly. And that's my point now, too, is I think Eric Bieniemy, while there's last year we saw times where him and Mahomes were going at it on the sideline.
Right. Yeah.
And Mahomes even said after the Super Bowl and other times too how much he loves Eric Bieniemy and says something along the lines of, you know what, I love Eric Bieniemy. He's my guy. He holds me accountable. Something like that. And there's no doubt that Eric Bieniemy is going to hold you accountable. It doesn't matter if you're Patrick Mahomes or if you're a special teams guy out on the field for one play.
Yeah.
If you mess up, you can guarantee Eric Bieniemy is going to meet you on the sideline.
He's going to let you
guarantee it. Yeah. Guarantee it. And so, Matt Nagy, I'm not saying he's not even a great play caller because I think the Chiefs are calling great plays. They're just not converting on them because guys are dropping it. Right. So I'm not going to even say that it's Andy Reid or Matt Nagy's fault for play calling because these play calls are working. They're just not executing as far as the very last step of catching the ball. Right.
Yeah. Well, and I knew you were at the game standing in the rain for the kingdom. We appreciate you, Andrew. Yeah. Like you screaming sounded so loud on the TV broadcast.
Hey, I believe it because my voice is feeling it yesterday and even so a little bit today. So
yeah. So I don't know if you saw, but when a couple of those drops, Andy Reid was visibly upset. And
I can see Andy Reid, and they were showing him on the screen. So
so when you rewatch the game, which I know it's tough to rewatch a loss,
I will rewatch it. I almost rewatched it yesterday, and I can't bring myself to do it yet.
But when he went, I think Andy Reid's fed up with it, is what I'm saying. I think he knows what needs to be fixed, and he knows that we need to stop false starting, we need to stop holding, we need to stop doing those things because when we're at 1st and 20. We don't have Tyreek Hill anymore. That's going to get us out of a jam. We don't, and so it's kind of like one of those things where, we need to stay ahead of the sticks if you use the football term. But Andy Reid was getting visibly upset at his wide receivers for drops and like talking to Justin Watson on the sideline. And they even showed it on the TV cast. So it was, So like, why were you running in towards the safety and when you could have just kept running towards the
when you already had a step or two on your guy.
Yeah. And so
that was frustrating.
Goodness gracious.
MVS had a run like that too. So both those guys just, man.
He decided to do the hokey pokey in the middle of the field and lost his footing. So he made it harder than it was. Right? He made it harder on himself than it really was. So
Yeah. So with all that said, there's a lot to be worried about with the Chiefs, I think, moving forward.
No.
If you can't score in the second half and so forth, you're going to struggle in every single game, right?
Yeah.
And these last few games, we felt pretty good about the Chiefs going into halftime, right? Being up 10 against the Eagles, being up 21 against the Dolphins, and then both those games come down to one possession games on either side, and we just happened to come out on top against the Dolphins because our defense put up 7 points. If they hadn't done that, who knows what happened in that game either. So, I don't want to think about that one too much. We're just going to take the victory as a victory, right? So,
That's right.
But with that being said, we have to consider all these things moving forward, right? We can't just say, oh, it's not a big deal. It's becoming a big deal. So, but with all that said, I do think the Chiefs are still the AFC favorites. I think that they have the edge over every other AFC team because the Chiefs, yes, they have their flaws, but show me another AFC team that doesn't have equal flaws. Right. I'm not saying theirs are dross. Theirs might be something else, but there's something detrimental about each AFC team. And so because of that, I'm not sure I can put anybody ahead of the Chiefs still.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think maybe the Ravens would be the one. I know that their flaw is that their defense gives up a bunch of points in the fourth quarter, but the Chiefs don't score in the fourth quarter. So maybe maybe that would be the wash.
No doubt the Ravens are the biggest team to watch out for Chiefs fans moving forward. So as far as playoff season, even meeting them potentially in the playoffs.
So
for the Chiefs to fix this, even if they don't fix the drops, which I'm not so sure they're going to, maybe a little bit see improvement, but you're not going to see it improve that drastically over the remainder of the year. Because if they would have fixed it and they could have fixed it, they would have fixed it already by now. And they haven't.
And I think it becomes harder. So now that's in MVS and Watson's head. I can't drop. I mean, we saw that with Sky Moore last year, I think, where Sky Moore was making all those drops. And I think he played scared. He played nervous to make a mistake and those things. And so I think when that gets in your head, then it's just go out there and play. Play like you know how to play. And and don't just trust the game plan and trust Mahomes and make a catch. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. If you don't play confidently in this league, you're not going to win. So but even with those drops, even if they continued, the Chiefs can still win if they clean up two things. They got to clean up their penalties, because when your offense is struggling, you can't get yourself in 1st and 20. You just can't. Now, I will say, side note, Jawan Taylor is still being picked on by the league. There's other teams that are doing the exact same thing that he's doing every single play, and he's the one getting picked on, right? And I'm not one to blame the rest, but they've used him as an example, and because they've used him as an example, every reffing crew is watching out for him. But either way, you have to know that, and you have to come in prepared knowing they're going to call that. And so take, half second later after the snap or whatever you need to do. So, clean up penalties, right? Because you can't get behind the sticks when your offense is struggling. And the second thing is when you get to the red zone, you got to convert, right? So, our big thing is the Eagles. We got to the red zone 4 times, scored 2 touchdowns, and had 2 turnovers. So, you don't turn the ball over, just get field goals, and you potentially still win that game. So, those are the 2 big things. And those 2 things, especially with turnovers and penalties, those are 2 things that they absolutely can still clean up this year and will make a huge difference.
And I know we were playing the Eagles, but I think the defense, let's have them stop and get some field goals. Let's stop them for field goals instead of giving up touchdowns. I mean, the Eagles got 3 touchdowns. Once they got in the red zone, it was automatic. And so I think our defense is good enough, I think, where hey, let's figure out the red zone and let's just hold them to 3. And I know it would have been tough with the Eagles because they're going to go for it 4th and short. And that,
especially when you get 1st and goal from the 1 or 2, it's hard to stop any team from that close.
So, and then that tush push or that brotherly shove, that's something else. You saw it live in person.
Yeah, they have got that thing down to a science.
It looked like water moving men. It was weird. It's weird. So
absolutely. So, well, if nothing else, I feel like at this point, the sky's not falling anymore.
Oh, no.
I feel like the Chiefs are still in a good position, once they get to the Super Bowl, and if they get to the Super Bowl,
once they get there.
I corrected myself. They have a good shot to get the Super Bowl.
If you were to tell me in February the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, I would be like, okay, yeah. I mean, that's I wouldn't doubt, because we still have Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, right? That's the 2 constants that we need. And so they'll figure it out. I still trust. It's week 11. We're going to week 12. They're going to figure it out.
All right. Well, hope you have a great Thanksgiving, Dale. And to all of our listeners here in the Kingdom Corner, hope you have a great Thanksgiving too. Hey, remember, it's Raider week. So
Raiders.
Be ready. As they always say, it's Raider week. So
that's right.
Enjoy time with your family, friends. I hope you guys have lots to be thankful for. We're thankful for each of our listeners, and more than anything, we're thankful for man, the saving grace from our Savior.
Yes.
Man, and we hope that you have that as well. If you don't, man, please reach out to us. We'd love nothing more than be able to talk to you about that, even more than the Chiefs. But
Yeah.
as always, reach out to us, any comments, questions, any thoughts, anything you want us to discuss, and we'll try to get into the show. So thanks for joining us in this episode of the Kingdom Corner. We'll see you next time.